You are my linen garment I put on. Lord, you are my linen garment I put on, while I minister to in the inner court. They shall not gird themselves with anything that causes sweat. They shall not gird themselves with anything that causes sweat. Lord, you are my linen garment I put on. Lord, you are my linen garment I put on, while I minister to you in the inner court. Oh, your garments smell of earth and aloe, of acacia. Oh, your garments smell of myrrh and aloe, of acacia, as I minister to you in the inner.
Well, hello. I forgot to do a basic introduction for the rest of this video. Here's what's going down. I'm going to show you guys how to make the ingredients for the armor, okay? It's going to be all over the place, but this entire episode is just dedicated to you watching me pour my sweat equity, my flesh, and my genuine blood into this awesome ingredient list. So, prepare yourself to figure out how to make your own armor backyard style. This is not going to be a technical how-to. This is going to be just the most spectacular thing in the history of mankind. You know what that is? Flax glue. Ingredient number 1, linen, obviously. Lots of it, yards of it, dozens of yards of it potentially per suit of armor. So I'm wearing it, I'm bathing in it all the time. My wife's creating a linen railroad. Reference my wardrobe. All those things. We just send them out to people who have needs. We're charitable humans. Now, this is flax glue. That's what I'm using for the glue. So, to stick the linen together in layers like I'm building, I'm doing it with glue made out of just basically you take the flax seeds, boil them with some water, I suppose. You put some water in there, you add some heat, and you bring it to a boil for a while, and you reduce it down till you have a gluey texture in it. And then you strain it with a cheesecloth, which means linen. You wring it out, you load it up with that flaxseed and glue conglomerated mist chunkiness, and then you wring it out as tightly as possible and squeegee all the boogery snot flax glue out of it. And then you have your flax glue. And it'll keep in a jar even in the fridge, so you can make a big batch of it and then slowly apply a couple strips of linen at a time. Anyways, I'm going to roll in. Excuse me. I'm digesting kombucha. I am going to roll in some clips of me doing this on the stove so you can watch it and see how spectacular this goes. And then I'm going to show you guys how to gather and collect resin out of trees. I didn't do it very successfully, which is fine, but you're going to watch anyways. And then I'm going to show you how to make charcoal, which is where I burned my hand severely. Fantastic. But I made a fire with one light. Wonderful. Then I will also chronicle a little pan recovery time because I had to build and fix. I had to assemble a cast iron pan back into a awesome uniqueness so that I could smash bits of frankincense, myrrh, and pine resin to dust and then charcoal into dust. And then I will show you guys my armor being made. First strip, y'all. Get ready. It's going to get saucy.
Well, hello. Today, I am going to be working on getting sap. Sorry, pause. Collecting resin. I'll do my best to try to use proper words from the glossary so that you all out there that simply need to know how to do this just right, now you will know. Now, I, as you know, am on the quest to make the perfect armor. We'll see how that goes. Right now, I'm on stage 1 where I've been making linen, sapphire dust, mixed with flax glue. I also tried a PCA, some horrible chemical concoction that comes from the store that's used for epoxies. Terrible. but I had to try because it's what was in my RV at the time when I made this. I've got my trusty assistant out here, my helpmate, and Naomi. She's crushing life and shaking trees, so she may be in and out of the shot at times. Enjoy it. That's what life is for. Really now, she's my armor bearer. Chelsea too. If you haven't read The Sword of the Covenant recently, dig into it because it'll teach you about armor bearers. That being said, what I'm going to be trying to do is tapping a tree today. Said tree behind me. It's a sturdy, very mature plant who knows how to endure tiny wounds and scratches and abrasions, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to woo...
Potty, Papa.
We got a potty break. I'll be back in a moment. All right, we're back from the potty break. Now, what I'm trying to do is I'm going to wound this tree carefully. I'm going to cut into the bark of the tree, which is the outermost shell. That's its protective layering. Now, trees like humans...
Yes, mosquitoes on you.
Get it, Nay. Hunt him for me. Good job. Good job. I've got my protector. Like I said, your armor bearer. Now, trees like people have something in them that helps them seal up wounds when they get injured, like our blood and our platelets in our blood. Now, it is called resin. Basically, when you cut a tree and the stuff that begins to seep out after it's been injured is resin. Resin has been known for thousands of years to be something that can help you tremendously. If you haven't looked into it, pine resin specifically has been used as a salve or making things that you can put on other injuries that would help your body. So I'm reasoning in myself that things like flax glue, resin, frankincense, myrrh, all these things that we know have wonderful medicinal benefits on our bodies and in our bodies, I think will also be incredibly beneficial for us to have on and in our armor.
Look at me.
You're terrific at hanging on that tree. Fantastic job. Now, that being said, I am willing to experiment with it because I think Yahweh commanded Noah to seal the inside of the ark and the outside with pitch for a reason. It did something to change the nature of the armor. If you haven't thought of Noah's ark as a giant armored rectangle, you should, because the bombardment that was occurring during the flood was catastrophic to such an extent that it killed everything that had the breath in it. You ever think about that? Rocks and stones and trees, and the cavitation of the entire earth was going down. And yet the ark was strong enough to withstand all of that bombardment because it had pitch sealing it. So anyways, we're going to look into that. Also the Nara wood. What I'm going to do after I do this and collect some sap, I'm going to wound the tree. I'm going to nail this under that wound, okay, as I scrape the bark away. This will help to collect the resin as it drips down. I'm going to hang it from this bucket. By the way, this bucket I got at the thrift store, Crush in Life. This is going to catch the sap. It's going to direct the resin down into this bucket. When I get this somewhat fuller, I have no idea how much is going to come out of this thing. When I get this to where I have a decent amount, I am going to heat it over a fire. Oh wait, sorry. I'm going to start a fire, which is always fun. And if you didn't know, you should wear linen when you build fires because it's biblical. I'm going to make a fire. I'm going to use some of the wood from this same tree, and I am going to start a fire and put... Oh no, this is my linen. This is like my old linen shirt, Nay. No cotton on me today. That being said, I am going to burn the wood, but not on fire style. I'm going to make charcoal. I'll time-lapse this now so you don't have to hear me screaming as I potentially wound this tree. I love trees. I'm one of those definite tree-hugging kind of humans out there. Mosquitoes. See, I don't hug those guys, no. But I've been known... Nice, Nay, show us what you got. Do you want to come show them? Come here, show them what you collected. Hold it down here, Nay, so they can see it. Come on over here. Let me show them. Nice. What you collect there?
Please.
Yeah.
I've collected all of them.
Nice. That's called pokeweed. People eat that. It's super toxic unless you boil it at least once, sometimes 3 times. The younger leaves, the better. So it's a delicacy in these parts of the Appalachians. Apparently that's how you're supposed to say it. I'm learning. I brought with me a hammer. I brought with me nails. I brought with me this piece of tin roofing that came off of Craigslist free tin roofing ads. Awesome. I've got gloves because that stuff is almost as sharp as my super sharp knives, but not as quite. So keep your knives sharp. Keep yourself ready. Let's see how this goes. All right. Well, as you can see, it looks like basically what it's supposed to do. Now, we'll see how it performs. I'll catch y'all up on it, and we'll check back on this thing every 5 minutes because I'm so excited. I want to see how it's going to turn out. But you know how it's like watching the kettle boil, right? I don't know. I have no idea how much seepage I'm going to get out of this tree. I don't even know exactly what this tree is. I just know that I rescued it from these massive, snarling, diabolically vicious vines out here. So I figure if I save it from this monster, but I wound it a little bit, it's a good trade. So we'll see how it turns out. I'm super enthused and willing to try all these things. So there's been some ticks, some blood loss, and that's how it's going to make the armor all the better, because you got to sweat for the good stuff. I could have just ordered sap online. I did order frankincense online, I'll admit that, and myrrh, because those aren't readily available in my area. But wood is, other woods are. So we're going to see what they do, because I think that's the best way to do all this stuff. As close to the natural, rudimentary way as possible. I think the Father blesses us when we use his creation to try to do things personally. Let's find out.
Quick update on the tree resin gathering. First of all, zero resin came out of that wound I gave to that tree. Lesson, choose the right tree. I made the wrong choice. I chose a beautiful tree that was conveniently hidden away in a spot that I could access, but likely wasn't to cause a disturbance in the force of humans that live around these parts. Appalachian people are mostly private folk. I love that. But sneaking onto their land and wounding trees is maybe not the best idea if you want to keep your arms. So, I chose the wrong tree. Next time, I'm going to do pine trees. Pine trees are the ones to wound. And so I did that. I wounded some pine trees and got sap almost immediately. You want to choose maples.
We'll be right over, hon. Thanks.
Dinner's ready, which is spectacular. Pine trees are the tree of choice. TOC. Talk. Pick the right talk, okay? You'll get better results than I did. But I found some other trees that were just goopy from previous wounds, and I used some of that. So, needless to say, pick the right tree, then wound it, then collect it, like I showed earlier.
Well, hello, and welcome to charcoal making. Well, we'll see how it goes, right? I need charcoal because one of the ingredients to make pitch, which I'm on the quest to do, is charcoal. Now, charcoal is not like the ashes you find in the bottom of a fire. Please don't mind the goat hollering in the background. I'll get them to all come crowd around me. Goat! Goat! Watch this. When the shepherd calls, goats! Ma! Hear him? Ma! Goats! Come on, goats! Oh, hickory! Isn't that awesome? I never knew how satisfying that was till it happened. Hi, you. Come here. Come on. Oh, yeah. Isn't that wonderful? Anyways. Sweet goats. This is Miles. That one. That's the one who got his foot caught in the other guy's horns and got screaming bloody murder. Ah! That's him. He screams like a human. Okay. Anyways, charcoal making. I'm distracted. What I'm gonna do is I need to create a pressurized container so that I can burn this wood without it combusting. Now this is important because there's 3 things in a fire triangle. I'm not talking the Illuminati right now, just take it easy. Now, air, oxygen. Oxygen, yes, super important. Heat, fundamental, and fuel. Well, we're gonna deprive this wood. I don't know what this is. Here's some cherry. This is beautiful. It smells so delicious. We're gonna take some of this wood, which would be our fuel. We're gonna put it inside this tiny sealed container. We're gonna deprive it of its oxygen so that it cannot combust all the way. But it will, I don't know what's the proper terminology. Basically, it's going to burn without igniting. Does that make sense? We're gonna puncture some tiny holes in the top of this lid, all right? And then we're gonna put all this wood inside there, and we're gonna make a big fire, reference the trampoline area,
I don't know why, but we always like to burn things near trampolines and melt tiny holes in them. But it'll be all right. It's the goat free zone. Do you know what I mean? So we're gonna then burn it in the fire. And as this heats up, what's gonna happen is the volatile gases, ooh, good word, volatile gases will come venting out those tiny holes. And if I do it just right, we will get a tiny pyrotechnic display of sweet jets of fire as all of those volatile gases, that's the stuff that's in the wood that makes it actually burn, comes shooting out of there like a fire engine that's actually on fire. It's an oxymoron. Fire engines don't make fires. This is an actual fire engine. You can actually run a vehicle off of this. It's called wood gas. Check out wood gas for homemade ways to power your vehicle. It's tremendous. I watched a show one time called The Colony. I'm sure there's a lot of shows called that, but it was more like one of those apocalyptic shows. Can you survive? A bunch of humans in a warehouse. But they made a wood gas vehicle. I believe it was a bus. It converted to run on wood gas. It was astounding. Anyways, wood gas, tremendously powerful. So that's what we're doing. It's almost like a steam it's almost like a double broiler for wood. Now I'm gonna burn it inside here without it catching on fire, ideally. Then I'm gonna let it cool down. Then I should have beautiful charcoal left, which I'm gonna pulverize to power with my sledgehammer and my cast iron pan. Maybe I should just use 2 cast iron pans and smash them together and smash everything between them. I might do that. We'll see. Then I'm going to use that ingredient, mix it on top of my resin, because I'm not gonna make true pitch, because true pitch is ridiculously hard too and tacky. I'm gonna maybe just layer the resin on, then the corundum, then sprinkle my charcoal powder on the top based off of a 1927 patent I found for chiclet gum, an activated charcoal. But he didn't mix the charcoal with the chicle. He just layered it on top so that when you chewed it, the act of chewing it made your pitch basically, and it was delicious and good for you, and it wasn't all rock hard. So I'm gonna experiment with that because I think that patent had something to do with what I'm trying to do here. You know, destiny knocking on my door. So you can now watch me just sweat and make fires and have a fantastic time burning things. Catch you soon.
All right. I've got my charcoal. Not yet. Sorry. I have wood in these containers. I have 2 of them because apparently they don't sell. Hi. Don't. You be nice. Hey, be nice. Anyways, they don't sell paint in metal containers anymore. I learned that the hard way. Hey, come here. Move along. Now, that being said, I'm down in a position that makes Miles think it's time to wrestle and butt heads. Not a good place for me to be. Normally I don't bend down like this right next to the goats. Excuse the traffic noise. I cannot control it at all. Now, what I did is I got my wood chips, basically. I should have just used mulch, I realized after a certain point in this. I've got a lot of hardwood mulch around here because we do back to eating gardening, which is amazing. Do it. Anyways, I should have just used the hardwood mulch that we have. Big chips, that would have been easier. But I couldn't get bigger paint cans than this because apparently the New World Order has regulated those out of existence. Don't knock it over, Miles. We're gonna have to butt horns. Anyways, I've got these tiny ones, so I'm gonna do 2 of them. I'm gonna make a fire now. I'm gonna make a fire. Come on, man. We're gonna have to wrestle. I'm gonna make a fire. It's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna try to do it with just 1 light. It'll be great. We'll see how it goes. I'm not gonna do this all primitive and old school, even though I've done that before a couple times. It's just a whole lot easier to use a Bic lighter, trust me. And sometimes easier is absolutely better because I've spent a long time trying to use char cloth and flint and steel. And that's doable. Dadgummit, goats. I'm gonna have to deal with this goat. Excuse me. Fire's rocking pretty good now. I got the cans in. I didn't wait till it got too hot. I did manage to lean on an ember. Burned my hand. Should have put on my fire gloves. Rookie mistake. We'll see how this goes. We are finally outgassing those volatile substances from the wood. So far, no fiery plume of awesomeness. We'll wait to see. Ready? Those combustible gases. All right, y'all. I've got my cans. I let them cool overnight. You can see. Now, granted, these thin cans are not gonna last too many fires. I might get 3 out of them, which is not ideal, which means I need to order a more robust can, or just keep praying to the Father that he will give me a cast iron Dutch oven. That's like the best, because the weight of the lid holds it on, and it's robust enough to take a lot of fires. But for now, the $2 and $1.50 paint cans are gonna work. So, you take your chainsaw tool, which has many varied purposes, including this sweet peeler here. Maybe I should rock it this way. Oh yeah. Oh yes! See? These volatile gases left all kinds of residue on there. But dudes, look at it, check it out. Check it out, everyone. I got charcoal. Yes! That's exactly what I needed, right there. See that? Yeah. You want your activated charcoal? Go make your own. There it is. Isn't that beautiful? Come on. I got cherry charcoal. It smells nothing like well, it smells a little bit, it still smells a little bit like wood. Just a little bit. Wow, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my charcoal. I'm gonna pulverize it. I found this cast iron pan today at the thrift store in the bins. So basically I got it for like $3. And this is my favorite cast iron. This is my favorite cookware right here. Cast iron. Stop cooking on Teflon. It's literally poisoning you. It'll kill birds. If you cook on Teflon coated pans, stop it. Throw them in the trash immediately. Go pray to Yahweh and ask him to give you real pans, and he will. I'm serious about this. Look up canaries dying. Seriously, birds die when you cook with Teflon around them because it's killing you too, just slower. Anyways, get cast iron and figure out how to take care of your pans. Somebody didn't totally take care of this one well, which is fine because I'm gonna pulverize a bunch of charcoal on it. Isn't this fantastic? Look at this. It works straight up. Beautiful. Ever seen anything more glorious? Come on. Now, I've got myrrh, pulverized frankincense, and I've got pulverized pine resin. That's the ingredients to make this pitch, okay? So, I'm gonna pulverize all of this, and then tomorrow, I've got a copper vessel that I am going to roast it all in. I'm gonna roast up the resins, melt the resins together. I'm gonna apply those to the linen, and then I am going to apply this dust of charcoal with the corundum, and it's gonna be spectacular armor waiting to happen. All right, guess what? I've got my ingredients. Charcoal, activated awesomeness from that canister, frankincense, myrrh, resins, and a bucket of sapphires. Look at this thing. I've got about 30 pounds here, maybe 35. I don't have a scale, so I just guesstimate things. This is immensely dense. Now, I went through and sorted out my favorite treasure gemstones, the best ones I could. But still, there's some sweet ones in here. That being said, I just got to get over it and start crushing these things into Dardanelle oblivion. It's going to be awesome. But they're still pretty. They're still pretty. Some of them are going to be real pretty. But it's okay. Like this one. See? Still got that nice hexagonal shape. Struggling to focus. Still struggling to focus. Don't mind. You can take my word for it. Anyways, we're just going to start pounding these things up. We're going to see how they turn out. We're going to get them down to a nice dusty, not quite dust, actually. I'm trying to get them to a, I don't know, sand, thick, coarse sand texture. I still want some decent, recognizable crystalline faces on them. So that way they can still uphold and resist those strikes with the giant chunks of metal coming at them smoking hot. So anyways, I'm going to start pulverizing these. Here, oh, update, cast iron pan fix. I savagely burned my hand. I should probably show you guys while making the charcoal. I didn't tend to my fire super well. I'm still learning how to manage it, but oh yeah. Ouch. Guess what that is? The shape of a stick. I couldn't snatch it from the flames, guys. I tried to snatch that stick from the flames. It burned me pretty bad, but that's okay. I've got linen bandages and burn ointment made out of beeswax, essential oils, and herbs chewed by humans, the best kind. It'll be fine-ish eventually, but perseverance is how we overcome. Now, we overcome him, the dragon, the devil, the serpent of old, by the blood of the Lamb, the words of our testimony, and not living our lives even when faced with death. Go read Revelation 12. You'll understand why I'm making all this armor, guys. Anyways, so here was the cracked cast iron pan. Have you ever seen one of these?
Well, hello. It's time for a little pan improvement. Now, lately I've been crushing these... I guess I don't need these quite yet. Lately, what I've been doing to crush the rubies and the sapphires is just using a sledgehammer. I don't think I need to show you what a sledgehammer is. Maybe, hold on. There. Sledgehammer. I've been smashing it on concrete, though, which is creating problems, like concrete dust in my sapphire dust. I don't want that, because you know what? I don't know what that's going to do, and I really want to have pure corundum. So, what I'm going to do today, start crushing them in an old cast iron pan that's cracked. Ooh, see that crack? I'm going to probably try to repair that, because I reckon I might smash my way right through this thing. But today, it's going to get crazy, because I'm going all in on armor today. I'm finally ready. I've got the recipe dialed in. By that, I mean, I just think I've figured it out mentally, you know, in my headspace. We're going to find out, though, how it goes. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this sweet buffing wheel, and I'm going to sand and buff down this pan, and then I'm going to glue it with some kind of cocktail of terrifying chemicals. And then I'm going to start smashing and pulverizing in an endless supply rubies, because I've got a lot of them, y'all. I've got buckets of sapphires I've got to crush and pulverize. And the online version of the rock crusher that I would like to get is $350. I'm going to probably pass on that for now. So instead, this, and a cast iron pan. That way, even if you just living in a backyard area, you're going to find a way to make your armor. So let's do this as low-tech as humanly possible, right? Because then it's the most awesome thing possible. It's replicatable to any of you, because you can pray to Yahweh and he will get you a hammer. I didn't buy this. One day I was needing a hammer, and you know what happened? I went to work, and a friend of mine there said, "Hey, do you have any need for this sledgehammer?" I'm not even joking. The same day I prayed for it. Now, I was using this at the time to pound rivets. Or maybe not rivets. Dang it. I don't remember what they are called. Gussets. Somebody's going to correct me quickly. The things I used to seat my two halves of my knife sheaths together, they have some special term. In my mind, they're basically rivets, but they're not. Anyways, I used it for that day. But now I'm not just making knife holsters anymore. I'm trying to make armor for my knives to be stopped by, I guess. It's going to be fantastic. So get ready, hold on tight, and let's sand the snot out of this pan.
All right. We've got our crack, some epoxy to fill it in. Now, we're gonna add a little corundum dust. Of course, because I can. It's amazing. Check this out. I should probably just put this down there.
I'm making crumbs.
You're making crumbs, Nay? Why don't you bring it over here? I'd be glad to finish your breakfast.
You can finish my breakfast.
Bring it over. Oh, there's a little lint. Linen lint.
Right there.
Ooh. Thanks, New. Morsels. Cast iron pan. You ever seen one of these? Sometimes this happens. It's exceedingly rare. My friend who gave this to me, fellow Linenitis. Linenitis? Yes. Marie. Champion. Apparently she got a new one. They sent her a brand new one. But we're gonna try to put it to work. This may crack basically immediately, but it's sealed with some kind of super intense Gorilla Glue epoxy and corundum dust. So I figure it's borderline invincible at this point. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Anyways, we'll see how it goes. Let's start dumping sapphires in here and see what happens. Okay, I've realized something. Crushing sapphires on a cast iron pan super late at night, probably not the best idea. I'm gonna have to hold off on the sapphire run till the morning. It's outrageously loud. I'll just let you guys hear it. I know. I've got to get a better method, guys, because I'm going to lose a lot to launching itself out there. I need the crazy crusher. But it's not attainable for everyone. Cast iron pans, sledgehammers are generally available to most humans. I got to persevere. Maybe I'm going to wrap this thing with Reynolds wrap, aluminum foil. Keep the family inheritance alive, I guess. Dang it. We got to persevere here. Anyways, we'll check in a little bit later. Catch you in the early morning hours when I'm done making it. All right, y'all. I got my cast iron pot that I beat out the charcoal in. I'm gonna set it up on this sweet little hot plate that I've been praying for. Guess what? Found it. So thankful. Now, I'm gonna heat up in this cast iron plate some random measurement of pine rosin. I'm probably gonna do, I don't know, 1/3 of a cup-ish. Then, I'm gonna get that to a liquid state, and I'm going to add in, I don't know, 1/4 less. Guys, don't expect me to do some sweet, awesome measurements here. I'm not that statistician-like guy. I'm gonna do some frankincense. Okay, let's just say this. I'm gonna do 2 parts this. No, I'm gonna do 3 parts resin to every 1 part frankincense, myrrh, and then charcoal dust, and corundum bits. I want you to see the size of the corundum dust. That's about the size I'm doing, okay? I don't have any proper gauge for it. I'm thinking this is gonna be more of my ideal diameter, crystalline faces. I have a lot of powdered version because I keep smashing these things with sledgehammers and cast iron too much. I'm gonna work on it, guys. But I'm gonna mix this in with the resin. I'm gonna apply it to my linen armor over here. I have 2 strips here, excuse me. I have my 2 strips here. Oh gosh, I might have lost you guys. There's my 2. That's 2 layers of linen with flax glue in between and on top of them. And then I am going to apply our resin, apply the corundum, and apply the charcoal. And then, of course, to top it off, gold foil. Yep, I'm gonna put gold on top of that. And then I'm gonna do linen, and we're gonna get going on this. All right, y'all. I've got the pitch, or the resin, with the sapphire mixed in. Nice and hot. Basically mixed up, more or less. Now, I'm going to apply it to the armor. I had a little splash zone earlier. I'm super glad that didn't land on my bare feet right now, bare hands. I'm making some poor choices when it comes to safety precautions right now, but you know what? C'est la vie. All right, y'all. I got a baby. Yes. Baby. No. Okay, so, hi, Julie. Say hello. Now, basically, here's how the armor turned out. I learned some lessons. First of all, I added the Sapphire resin, which is so fun to say. I should have used a more powdered version. I like this larger, crumblier version, but I think it's gonna have too many irregular shapes. You see that? It's not gonna be flexible enough at this size. This might work for like a strike plate. It has the ability to stop higher velocity cartridge rounds coming at your throat. That's awesome if you want a shield or something really rigid. Not so awesome if you want flexibility. I guess we want both at different reasons. So, this size crystalline structure, I don't know what gauge, I don't know how to measure this stuff yet, or what the terminology is. Basically the stuff that's bigger than sand. Little bit bigger than sand. That stuff, it's a little too big to have any flexibility. And when I went to add the powdered charcoal, it made it so that I couldn't apply the gold foil. It was far too powdery. So I'll probably add the gold foil like I did just to the linen itself. That is the way to do it. All right, I gotta go. I got a baby who's putsy and gutsy. Anyways, there you go. I'm gonna let it dry and hopefully somewhere dry, but it's raining right now, so maybe a warm place inside. All right. I only bled a little bit, and I burned myself twice.